Well, I'm so glad you made it. This has been a great day. I'm glad the weather turned out. Like a friend of mine said, we are grateful for great weather, especially here in Minnesota. So, all right. Well, welcome to our 35th anniversary celebration. And, whew. So tonight, we're here to feel the pink in black and white. And feeling the pink means that you enjoy good food, you enjoy good friends, and you enjoy good feelings, celebrating together our health, our history, and breast cancer awareness. Because breast cancer has affected us, all of us, in some way or another. And with Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October, we decided to extend it into November because breast cancer doesn't begin and end in October. So tonight we're going to have a fantastic night. And we have a special treat as we welcome our fantastic host, Julia, Miss J. Mitchell, Minnesota's own Miss Manners. Thank you, Julia.
Good evening, everyone. As she said, my name is Juliet Mitchell, and we welcome you to the African American Breast Cancer Alliance 35th anniversary. Feel the pink and black and white. What an incredible sight everyone is. Doesn't it feel good to just dress up every now and again? We live in such a casual world. It's great just to get dressed up in your best and enjoy the fellowship and company of others. On behalf of the African American Breast Cancer Alliance, welcome to this celebration. We are so incredibly honored to have you join us tonight as we come together to celebrate the strength, resilience, and unwavering spirit of cancer survivors. Tonight, we honor not only just those who have battled cancer, but also the newly diagnosed, the caregivers and loved ones and advocates who have stood by their side. I want to extend a heartfelt welcome to each and every one of you this evening. I'm honored to be your host tonight as we celebrate the impact of AABCA, African American Breast Cancer Alliance. On behalf of the African American Breast Cancer Alliance, we acknowledge the journey at the first breast cancer education and support organization of Black women in the Midwest. Let me just say that again. It is the first breast cancer education and support organization for Black women in the Midwest, okay? We take this time to honor the legacy, 3 decades of education, advocacy, support for survivors and their families. Tonight, we all will shine, share, and hope. That is part of our theme tonight. Please join me in recognizing the AABCA founders, board members, volunteers, patients, survivors, and supporters who make this mission possible. Let's give them a hand. We acknowledge the incredible journey of each and every survivor in this room. Your stories are a testament to the human spirit, and your presence here tonight is a beacon of hope for all of us. So I'd like for you to take a moment, everyone in this room, and just look around at someone. Give them a nod. Give them a wink. Not a fresh wink, just a wink. And smile and say, thank you for being here tonight. Can we just do that? All right, that's pretty awesome. And speaking of thanks, I'd like to thank Dorcas Michelson and the Groveland Woodwind Quartet for the beautiful music during the reception hour. And they also did a benefit concert for AABCA about a month ago, and they raised $1,500. So let's give them a hand. I'd also like to take this time to acknowledge our exhibitor sponsors, Genentech, and the Masonic Cancer Center at the University of Minnesota. Let's give them a hand. This is so exciting. We have a special evening ahead, filled with inspiration, reflection, joy, laughter, music, and the opportunity to connect with one another. But before we begin, let's take a moment to acknowledge the warriors, the families and friends of those who could not attend tonight. And we also want to remember the ones who fought the good fight, but they are no longer with us, but they're in our hearts and in our memories. Let's just call out those names. Just call out those names of those who've come before us. Janetta, Joyce, call the names. Oh, thank you. So tonight, we are celebrating a milestone, celebrating the ongoing fight for breast cancer, Black breast cancer, the progress that has been made, and acknowledging the long way we still have to go to reduce the 41% higher mortality rate for Black women who suffer. So let's take a look back at the journey that brought us to today. Please turn your attention to the screen for our AABCA history presentation video. Okay. We love technology, but technology happens, so thank you for your patience. We might need a little technical assistance, but enjoy table talk, finish your salads while we get this video going.
So we go forward. It's not playing. It's playing. Can you test it?
What about the second video?
The second video is right here. We haven't loaded it yet.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I don't know. Just
Okay.
Let's try that. Let's try that.
Okay. Well, thank you again for your patience with having a little technical difficulties. We have two videos, so we're going to load the second video and see if that plays, and then we'll come back to this one.
keep your fingers crossed.
Okay.
Hello to everyone coming together to celebrate 35 years of African American Breast Cancer Alliance. To Riona, Barry, and everyone at AABCA, you have built something lasting and life-changing, and yes, life-saving. And I want to thank Natasha Fuller, who I know is with you tonight and who powerfully told her story alongside me and Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz during our Breast Cancer Awareness Month event. Natasha, thank you for sharing your story with the nation with such courage and grace. Tonight is about a simple but powerful idea, that no one should face breast cancer alone. That's what brought 9 women, including Riona, together in 1990 to raise awareness around breast cancer, especially among Black women. Since then, you've started peer support groups and survivor networks that reach far beyond Minnesota. You work with hospitals, clinics, to make sure information reflects every woman's experience. And when a newly diagnosed woman doesn't know where to turn, you're there with a phone call or a survivor ready to help guide anyone through their journey. One woman recently wrote that the AABCA helped me find strength I didn't know I had, she said. That's what 35 years of leadership looks like. We know the facts. While Black women are diagnosed with breast cancer at about the same rate as white women, they are more likely to get aggressive forms of breast cancer at a younger age, and they are about 40% more likely to die from the disease. And that's why AABCA's work matters so deeply. As we've paid more attention to breast cancer over the years, partly because there's more women in Congress, more women than ever are getting mammograms and beating this disease, but access to comprehensive and quality health care matters. Right now in Minnesota and across the country, people are getting notices that their health care premiums are about to skyrocket. Congress can't afford to wait until December or January. We have to address this health care crisis. After years of working on breast cancer prevention and awareness, you know it's become personal to me. As many of you may know, following a routine mammogram in February of 2021, I learned that I had stage 1A breast cancer. I'm lucky I just had stage 1A. There are so many people, including in the room, who are fighting or have fought tougher diagnoses. I had a lumpectomy and radiation after that, and 4 months later I was in remission. Since sharing my story, I've heard from so many people in Minnesota and across the country. I've had people text me or post online that they're in the waiting room about to get their mammogram. A few years ago, a letter came to my office from a woman in Maple Grove. She said, just wanted to thank Senator Klobuchar for going public with her breast cancer diagnoses and reminding women to get their mammogram. Because of her reminder, I made an appointment. From that appointment, the mammogram found a lump, and after several tests, I've been diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. I'm thankful that we caught the cancer early and will fight to overcome it. Sincerely, Melissa. I called Melissa, and by complete coincidence, she answered from the waiting room of a clinic about to have her first post-treatment checkup in the Maple Grove area. A few days later, she called back. She was 100% good. Those moments remind me what this work is all about. That's why I worked to pass the Bipartisan Early Act. It created a national education campaign at the CDC called Bring Your Brave to motivate young women to learn their family health history and the importance of screening. The campaign expanded through social media, podcasts, and content partnership, even a storyline on Grey's Anatomy to spread the message. It targeted data-driven outreach, and it helped women, especially young and high-risk women, including in the African American community. Because otherwise, not everything's the same, and certain communities have a higher risk. So our bill, Debbie Wasserman Schultz bill and mine, was to target a few of these communities, including yours, that have a high risk, to detect cancer early when it's most treatable, and connecting young women who may be at high risk. Now I'm fighting to reauthorize this law again, because we know it saves lives. But anyone who has survived or is surviving cancer knows that it isn't always as simple as picking off where you left off. That's why the Congresswoman and I are also fighting to pass a new bill that helps survivors tackle these challenges as they come back from the biggest fight of their lives. To all of you, of the survivors, loved ones, doctors, and advocates, thank you for turning pain into purpose. And my own personal quest through this disease was my husband who was getting up at 4 a.m. and taking me to radiation. It was the doctors and the nurses. I still remember the little pin they gave me after I finished the radiation, or the little flag they gave me because it was going to be Memorial Day. There's so many people that support you when you go through this, but that's why the work you do is so important because no one should go through this alone. Together, we'll keep fighting to make sure early detection and quality care is possible for every woman from every zip code. And to everyone at the AABCA, past and present, thank you for proving progress is possible. Here's to the next 35 years of life-saving work.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. It lets us know that we need advocates on every level. We everyday people who are in public office, doctors, nurses, our pastors, our whole community are involved in this work to eradicate breast cancer among all women, with a particular focus on African American women. Thank you. Okay, I think our other video is working, so let's do it.
Come on. All right. Take 4.
Celebrating 35 years of the African American Breast Cancer Alliance. AABCA has stood as a beacon of hope, connection, and empowerment. What began as a small circle of women determined to make a difference has become a powerful community, supporting survivors, educating families, and saving lives.
Or I'll go from over here. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
My name is Autumn Denise Frazier Cotton. I was diagnosed in June of 1998 with stage 2 inductal carcinoma, breast cancer. I found AABCA maybe a month or so after I was diagnosed. I happened to be listening to KMOJ, shout out. And Rihanna was on the radio, and she was talking about the AABCA organization.
Keep your dial right where it's at. Channel 2. Yes, Shaw. Yes, Shaw. Eddie, Shaw. We're rocking on KMOJ.
Stages of breast cancer. And this is a drop-in group. So come when you want, come when you need. If a person's only been there once, that's fine. You know, there's no obligation.
I was going on my way back to work, and I heard Rihanna on the radio. And before she got off the air, I was already calling her phone, leaving a message. We need to talk. I need to find out more about this breast cancer support group, because I was really needing to talk to other women that were like me. And it was, as soon as I walked in the door, it was like everybody just welcomed me. And at the time, it was Carol Fitzgerald and Rihanna and maybe Miss Finney at the time. But it was very, very welcoming.
In 1990, 9 Black women, doctors, and 5 community leaders in St. Paul, Minnesota, came together with one mission: to change the face of breast cancer for African American women. These visionaries knew that awareness, education, and community could save lives. At that time, a cancer diagnosis often meant silence and fear, and many women suffered alone. What began as the Afro-American Society for the Control of Cancer grew into the African American Breast Cancer Alliance, a safe haven and a voice for those who too often went unheard.
My name is Luella Williams.
The African American Breast Cancer Alliance, 35 years of strength, sisterhood, and survival.
Wow. Testing? Okay. What an amazing story, and it's not over yet. As we prepare to dine, let us pause and offer gratitude for the delicious meal that has been prepared for us. As we dine, let us take time to connect and to share stories, impart wisdom, and allow laughter across generations and journeys. Here's to healing, heritage, and hope. Your voice matters, one conversation at a time. Enjoy your meal.
Well, good evening. I am super thrilled to be here with all of you, and I have the honor of carrying you through the 35th year celebration of AABCA. I have many thoughts in my head, and if you know, you know. I have had some experiences over the last several days that I have thoughts in my mind and in my heart that you will soon learn to hear. But just know that I always do my very best to try to be authentic with people and have a true conversation. And one of the things that we're going to talk about this evening is how we deal with our fears. So part of that is obviously recognizing that in the breast cancer journey, you can have that. And as we look around to all of us this evening, we see black and white and a sparkle of pink and white around us. And that truly is a contrast where we carry through, a balance with us as we have in our moments of times where we're thinking about difficult, but yet my thrill tonight is to talk about how we get into a joy around creating change when it comes to breast cancer. So with that in mind, tonight is about courage meeting fear and really thinking about where the struggle and grace coexist and where we must refuse to be silent relative to hope, right? And make sure that, like the song, we be bold, like Desiree said. So as mentioned, I am Dr. Tanya Jackman Hampton, and I must at this moment bring my father into the room. He would not have it any other way for me not to say Jackman, because it's important to him in context of how we talk about our lives and that we recognize where we come from, and I do come from him. As I mentioned, we are going to talk about fear, and I am the author, but not necessarily here just tonight as an author, but I will say I'm an author of The Myth of the Fearless Leader. And we're going to have that conversation about that as it relates to breast cancer. But as a woman who also has faced fear and found freedom in learning to dance with it as a breast cancer survivor 6 years ago. I will later tell you a little bit more. Thank you. I will later tell you a little bit more about my journey, but I do want to recognize that tonight the theme, as mentioned, is shine, share, and hope. It speaks to every stage of our connected human experience, whether we've faced cancer personally, cared for someone who has, or served as a clinician, where here we believe in our ability to address the horrible disease through our collective efforts. The truth, though, is that we don't walk this course alone, and we don't walk it in the absence of fear. It means learning to shine together in spite of it. Imagine that. I realize how provocative that statement is when we're all taught to be fearless and strong. It's a narrative I've heard since I was young. But I believe that tonight is about telling ourselves how important it is to accept that we have fears and recognize the biggest threats, especially related to breast cancer, to get acquainted to our fears, and tonight we build resilience and courage to keep going. We are all leaders. We were born leaders. We have to start with leading ourselves. When it comes to understanding, it's important to know difference is incredibly important during times when uncertainty is really already present and high due to outside forces. Going into the country or the world that we are in, it is now more important than ever that we really need resilience around us and adaptability. The research that I did, that I'll share with you tonight, is a journey that taught me that fear is not the enemy. It is the information we've learned to work with. And we must engage and explore and execute in order to transform fear into strength. That's what I call fear mastery. And tonight, we are going to experience a bit of that together. That's me, if you haven't figured that out. I was a little bit younger there, but that's me. And then that's me now. And as I mentioned, we are going to really focus on thinking about how we shine, share, and live hope. And by the end of our connection this evening, I'm wanting you to consider how you will shine, share, and hope for a future of good health, a strong life, no matter what, and strength to have hope even when fear is present among yourselves and others. That's me upside down. It wasn't intended to be that way, but that's okay. We can work with it. We can work with it. I think sometimes technology, if you assume that it will go wrong, then you're going to be fine. That's just the way it is. But literally, that's a write-up of me if you imagine it that way, in the sense that I was at the Runyon Canyon, and this is in California, where I now live. I'm sorry. But I do love it there. I'm in San Diego. I am still really connected to Minnesota. It's my home. But this is Runyon Canyon, and I wanted to share this with you as a way to literally let you know that I am on a journey to help this world think differently about fear. And the reason being is it can sit so within us that it can actually harbor and create disease and create concern for us if we don't deal with it. So I want to change that, and I want people to believe that it's okay to be fearful, recognize those fears, and think about how you deal with them. So when I wrote The Myth of the Fearless Leader, it was really about trying to understand fear from other leaders, but actually, during the write of the book, right, because there was a dissertation involved at the beginning, but during the write of the book, I had breast cancer, and I was going through my own procedures. So you see that time was around August 3rd, 2018, and I got that call every 8 seconds that a woman can get saying, "You have breast cancer." I was upstairs in my daughter's room. I remember the moment so vividly. It was almost as the moment when I received the call that I was going to be going to California. But nonetheless, in that moment, I didn't know what to do. And the first thing that came to my mind was to call for my mom. The only frightening thing is she wasn't available. She had passed away in 2016, and I was diagnosed in 2018. So for me, and I realize my journey is very different than any one of you that have experienced it or have been around it. But for me, the most scary thing about having breast cancer was that I couldn't have that moment in my life with my mother. So I did have the next best thing. I went downstairs to my husband, who I look at today after 31 years of being married, and he still stands by my side, and I said to him, "I've got cancer." And he looked at me in a little bit of stunnedness, but he also said, "You know what? We got this. We'll figure it out." And so shortly after that, I ran to the phone and started making phone calls and accepted unconsciously that I was scared to death. But I knew I had to lean in and engage and understand what were the things I needed to explore to be able to execute a plan. I didn't do it on my own, but I certainly had many different resources and people like AABCA. I remember still calling Riona in my journey, and she has held me since then in many different ways, and that I am grateful for, along with the board. So thank you. And I'm confident that had it not been for AABCA, I would not have had multitude of support from an education perspective. Sure, I'm a healthcare executive, but to the same token, I too needed more information, and AABCA was able to give that to me. So thank you. So it was my instinct to move on and really think about how do I continue this journey. I was diagnosed with stage 0, grade 3 breast cancer, had my biopsy, and in that process learned that it also was metastasized across both breasts. And like I said, my journey's different. At that moment, I realized boobs are overrated. They gotta go. But I say that with humility as well, because about a month ago, I met a young woman. She had just had her second baby, and she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she wanted more babies. So for her, that wasn't true. She wanted to be able to breastfeed her children and be a part of that journey with them. So each and every one of us have a different story, a different experience, but at the end of the day, we do have that human experience of feeling worried and concerned and needing to be able to support one another. So that's what I want to be able to at least give you as a gift when you walk away today, is to think about how you might do that. We do want to think about, as we move forward, how we engage, and in my process or in our processes together, we have to pause and learn enough to really truly understand how we can see ourselves or the woman around us, not just the diagnosis. And I had to ask, what is fear and what is it trying to teach me? I also had to move to take one small step and follow many more and tremble, but yet still move forward. This is what I characterize as the 3 E's method. EASE, right? 3 E's. And I hope in the future you will actually experience it as an opportunity to learn through digital software as we all think about how we move through our journeys around fear, whether it's breast cancer or otherwise. So I stand here and I believe you may have practiced this wisdom even on your own not knowing, but now we have perhaps a way to call it. So this is Mom, and this is me, even younger. And she was my first leader in my life before I had cancer, and was showing me what life was like to live it when you do experience fear. She kept going, no matter what challenge might have sat before her, as a way to teach us as children to move on. And being fear-informed begins right here, when you meet a leader in your life that can help teach you and motivate you to move forward. So I ask you, as a part of the first part of We Think Abouting tonight, to think about who is the first leader in your life, or who is a leader in your life that has motivated you and helped you to think about how do you move forward. Who showed you how to navigate fear and keep going forward? From a context of recognizing that the fears that we have together, we can think about that in that breast cancer journey process, we can have that fear of the first diagnosis, the fear of reoccurrence, the fear of living with advanced diseases that we might have, whether it's breast cancer or otherwise, death, physical, and really emotional effects that might occur, and uncertainty, medical things that come up in the process. These are obviously understandable, and this chronic illness is scary, yet You have to encourage yourselves to really think about how do you react, which is something you can have control over. You can choose happiness over sadness. It's hard, no doubt, but thinking about how you do that is really important. So I invite you to think about how you say you don't have fear, right? And how you, instead of going into a panic, like you might, the fight, flight, or freeze mode, go into a different path. Because if we go into that fight, flight, or freeze mode, our brain actually likes to avoid things. And if we condition ourselves to avoid things, we won't face it. And we might pocket the idea of taking care of the disease that we carry, right? So instead of fight, flight, or freeze, think about how you can move forward and really deal with the circumstances. I mentioned earlier that every moment, 2 seconds, it changes, depending upon the type of cancer that you might have. That a person will get a call, a woman will receive that call where you have breast cancer, and fear is the information that might hit you. It's not an enemy, though. It's important for you to think about the strength and the fearlessness, and again, think about the community around you that can build resilience for you so that you can engage, explore, and execute towards your path forward. It's also believing you can change how you react by engaging in your emotions, exploring how you respond, and think about what are the steps that you can take to move forward. So, I'm going to go back and say, let's think about how we choose hope, not fear, and also have you step into this process with me. And so, when we think about the next challenge that we might have in our life, I want you to pause for a moment. What is your challenge? Whether it's related to the topic that we're having tonight or something else, what is your challenge? When you've got that in your mind, think about what is the fear associated with it. Now, think about a time when you might have had a similar emotion, but you were able to move forward. What were those steps that you took? What was those ideas that you had? Who were the people that you connected with? I'm hoping that that brings joy to you. It brings some movement for you. It brings some way of looking towards a vision that has hope, where you will shine, and certainly people shared with you, or that you shared with them to help them through their journey. Where you were able to think about what might have been the fears that you had, but what might have been the stories that could help you change those emotions so that you could create a path to move forward. I want to give you the opportunity to look to your partner and share any bit of what just came up for you in your mind. Go ahead, take that moment. Sometimes we have to jump right on in. All right. How did that feel? I'm guessing if you're any bit of human, there might have been some jitters that came up in your stomach when I said turn to your partner. Yeah? Well, good. You stepped in, right? How often do we take chances in our life? And I'm putting certainly a little bit of levity to the notion of thinking about this in the context of cancer. But I just want you to recognize how important it is to accept that emotion that you might have felt when I asked you to turn to your partner and still lean in and do it anyways. Still lean in and do it anyways. Because if you can, then you can at least find a path forward. And that's your hope. That's your way to shine. That's your way to really think about how you are going to make a difference in your life or someone else's. Is there anybody that'd be willing to share anything that you talked about, anything that you thought about? I thought my husband was going to raise his hand. Anyone? Yes, thank you. You certainly can. Good evening. That's right. Wonderful, thank you. Let's give her a hand. Anyone else inspired to share? Thank you for again sharing. And I'll just say that when we think about this, we can hopefully take this out of our discussions and into other discussions that we might have in the future on how we're going to move forward. What I want to say, bringing you back to the very beginning, being bold. One of the things that's important as we think about this work too is to think about how do we reframe things? How do we be bold? Another one of the things that I use as a reframe is thinking about my walk-on song. So that was part of the method of the madness, is having a walk-on song so you can change your mindset. So what is your walk-on song that's going to help you move on, move forward? I have another one. I can't sing, but I'm going to say the verse. Every little thing is going to be all right. Bob Marley, right? I'm going to tell you, it's the same verse that helped me as my mom was passing. I went over to her. She hadn't been talking for 2 or 3 days. And I went up to her realizing that I actually have to accept that she's going to pass. And no matter what side of the world it is, no matter where she will be, everything is going to be all right. Because that's what she taught me. Right? So in your journey, in your process, wherever you are, I believe everything is going to be all right. Yeah, you can clap. Thank you. Yeah. So with that, hopefully you too have in mind your song, your walk-on song, your reframe. Does anybody have one? I've come to many different audiences, and people have these ready or they create them in the room. You're not going to let me down, are you? Mary J. Blige. I will survive. That's exactly right, right? I know what change is coming. I know what change is coming. Yes, optimistic, Sounds of Blackness. I just talked to Sandy Harris not too long ago, who sang optimistic quite well. All right. So good. These are your things that you will be able to use in your future. I want to end here. You know, and I didn't necessarily plan this, but I'm going to end here. This is my father, Jack Jackman, or Wallace Jack Jackman. And we lost him, my cousin Tracy and my cousin Michael. Lost him on October 27th. And, you know, I use this all the time because Dad was always good at talking about uncertainty and how you move forward and take action. He was a magnificent man, and I say that again with humility, but I also felt it when he passed. And what's so amazing about the thing that he did in life is that he did it not knowing all the things he needed or having information, not even having education to the fullest degree that you might have in high school. But he still moved forward. I share that story with you to say, even in our breast cancer journey, let's try to figure out how we have resilience and strength and shine, share, and have hope. Because we can do this. We can live a full life. We have to remember the resources around us and the people that keep us whole, to keep us strong, so that we can move forward. Live and extend 35 years of service. Thank you, Riona. Thank you, the board. Let's live another 3,500, right? Whether present, together, changing on earth or beyond, everything's gonna be all right. And I believe we have the ability to shine while we are here, present on this earth, together. I wanna say thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me share 3 E's. And I hope for a world, really, where each of us can think about how we express ourselves fully and be supported and encouraged, fearfully and wonderfully. By me. That's me. So, with that, I end tonight here, really hugging each and every one of you with a warm hug, saying thank you for bringing me back to Minnesota. I couldn't imagine a better place to be tonight. And I'll come back. Thank you for having me. I'd be remiss if I didn't share, for those of you who would like to stay tonight, there are 23 copies of free for you to receive my book, and there are also other copies for purchase, but 3 on behalf of AABCA, and thank you. I do want to say that it's not often that I'm in the room with family and the Minnesota Spokes Recorder, and so I just want to acknowledge my cousin for the service that she has done as well. And I know she's one of the sponsors tonight, so on behalf of the family, thank you for having us present.
Wow, what an inspiring message from Dr. Hampton. So you guys who really know me, you know I like music and songs, so we're gonna have to sing the song. It's gonna wake you up, I promise. And I know you guys know the words. You gotta be what? Bad. You gotta be bold. You gotta be wiser. Who knows the song? Who's gonna sing it with me? All right, ready? Go. You gotta be bad. You gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know is love will save the day. Thank you, Dr. Hampton. Thank you. Now, I just want to point out a few things. I'm a note taker. In church, when the preacher gets ready to give the message, I got the pen and paper out. So, she said, fight, flight, freeze, and I added another F, face it. Sometimes we just have to face it. Choose hope, not fear. That stood out for me. And then pause. Take a pause, just a breather, because sometimes we're on autopilot and we're just moving, moving, moving. Our brains are thinking, 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 and our insides are moving. Sometimes just to pause and breathe and try to understand what's going on inside your mind, your body, and your spirit, and then take small steps to move forward. Thank you, Dr. Hampton. All right, so again, Dr. Hampton will be here signing books afterwards. The Myth of the Fearless Leader, Finding Strength Through Fear. And now we're going to turn our attention to some more. I would say it's entertainment, but maybe not. There's a message in this next piece. It's with Michelle Purdue, author, resilience speaker, and spoken word artist, performing her inspiring poems from her original one-woman show called Thrive. Miss Purdue, is she in the house? Do we have our tech person?
There we go.
You got it?
Yes. Have you ever had a dream that was so vivid that it just jolted you out of your sleep? To the point where you started breathing uncontrollably. Your heart's racing. Can you hear me? All right. Well, your heart is racing. And then you sit up and you're looking around because you're trying to get grounded, trying to bring yourself back to reality. Well, see, there's that other kind of dream. The kind of dream that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. talked about that was so much bigger than you and I. It was a dream that would make your heart smile. A dream that would make you want to rise to the occasion so that you could truly be the best version of who you are despite whatever you are going through. Well, guess what, AABCA? Today I have a dream for you. I have a dream that one day cancer would be eradicated. No longer permeate the lives of the innocent, but become older than childhood hand-me-downs. Outgrown and outdated, faded as my denim jeans where you could barely remember the crime scene. You know, when you found that lump in your breast or got that call that you didn't pass your mammogram test. When you fell to your knees, praying to your God, this can't be true, oh God, why me? You know, when you thought that you were the best of health because you exercise, ate good, thinking that you truly knew yourself. Then cancer came like a thief in the night and robbed you of all that you knew. Made you realize that life is uncertain, it's never what we choose. See, I have a dream that one day that if cancer comes again knocking at your door, there will be a cure. A cure to restore your wounded spirit, your dismantled sense of hope. Reconfigure your abnormal cancer cells faster than anyone could possibly know. A cure that would no longer preserve, would preserve your life and keep your future intact. But see, you know what? I have a dream. And the dream that I see is so much, just like Dr. Martin Luther King, is so much bigger than you and I. Because I have to tell you, the day that I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I really fell to my knees because I did not know if I was going to survive. And then when it was time to have surgery, I found myself in the emergency room 3 times in that very same night. I remember falling to the floor saying, God, am I going to survive? I remember my husband calling out my name, but I could not respond. I remember them calling cold and all the doctors rushing into the room to try to help me. And all while this is happening, I am saying to to myself, am I going to survive? Raise your hands if you've ever been there. I don't know what your story is, because we all have a story, right? Yeah. Will I survive? So I have a poem that I want to share with you called I Still Survive. My spirit bruised, my ambitions depleted, my passion for life, I feel robbed and defeated. But through it all, as I fight the tears in my eyes, it's because of a power greater than myself that I still survive. Amen. You rocked my world. You rained on my parade. You uprooted my anchor. You caused my faith to sway. But through it all, I still found myself finding the strength that I need, because I knew that I was going to survive. You take my perception of what my future could hold. You keep me in the dark, let the truth be told. But through it all, it's my light that gives me the strength to survive. Like the homeless in desperation, no matter what, I'm going to survive. You pounce into my life like a leopard claiming an estate. You act as if you own me and I have nothing to say. As if my self-worth is for sale and I'm okay with being bribed. You have no idea of the value of my worth. That's why I still survive. You have me running in all directions in disbelief and in awe, trying to make sense of your intentions, but how was I the mother of withdraw? But through it all, I managed to stay on my feet and I refuse to hide. I hold on to hope like a falsely accused who hungers for freedom. That's why I still survive. The reality of your existence tries to suffocate my hopes and dreams. It tries to squander my ambitions, jeopardizing my self-esteem. But through it all, I live on purpose. I fight to be alive. And no matter what, I'm still going to survive. You try to distort my identity and replace the word victim with my name. But I refuse to give in to your disease-stricken ways. I refuse to play your games. Like a treasure chest filled with opulent jewels, I know my worth inside. My value is not dictated by you or anyone else. That's why I still and will not only survive, but thrive.
Wow. I don't know about you, but I was smiling on the inside and my energy was up. It's like, wow, for this woman to come through what she has come through and bring that joy and energy into this room. What can you say? Just like, wow. So thank you so much for that. Now I want to turn our attention to recognizing some very important people in the room. Well, we're all important people, but these went a little bit extra to make sure that breast cancer newly diagnosed, the ones who are surviving, the ones in their family members got the services they need. And I want to recognize those individuals now. I'm going to ask Camille or Riona to come up. All right. Okay. So when I call your name, would you please come to the front? Anika Robbins of the Anika Foundation. Okay. Monisha Washington, the Breast Cancer Gaps Project. Pamela Weems, Pink Ladies, Minnesota. Tracy Dillers William, Minnesota spokesman recorder. All right.
All righty.
Okay, you gonna say something?
Yeah. Sorry. Almost took her finger off there. These are ladies that have worked with the African American Breast Cancer Alliance over the years, and we have worked on several projects together. And we want to show our appreciation for you for being one of our partners and helping us spread the word about breast cancer and Black women, because, as we said before, it was a taboo subject and nobody wanted to talk about it, but we talk about it way too much, they say. So and the thing is, we like to talk about it because, first of all, we are losing too many Black women to breast cancer. So these are our community sheroes. They share the words about breast cancer and make sure that they also see the fun in it. Pamela's the fun, and, and Anika brings the party. So Monisha, she tells her story, and Tracy puts on these great awareness events with all of us. So we appreciate everything you do working with us. Okay, so we're going to pass out our awards, our Community Sheroes Awards, and Julia is going to explain those to us.
Okay, all right. I'll just call the names and they will get their award. Can I see what it says? Oh, sure. It has the recipient's name, the African American Breast Cancer Alliance Incorporated, the Breast Cancer Gaps Project, so the name of their project is on the certificate, Community Shero Award, celebrating dedication, leadership, and impact through education, networking, outreach, and support in the breast cancer community, signed by Riona Berry and Camille Berry. Yeah. Okay, Brianna. All right. Oh, you're next. Okay.
But it happened. Thank you again. Please give the ladies a welcome applause, and I'm looking forward to many more years of working with them. Yes. And here's a letter that goes with the award, okay? All right. Thank you again. This one, this one. Okay. Okay. Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you again. So, you get a picture of that? Oh. All right. Thank you. All right. Okay, and next, for our other Community Shero Awards, I call them the dynamic duo because they go from one end of Minnesota to the other, sharing information about breast cancer. And they do this tirelessly. I mean, sometimes when I hear about where they've been and what they're doing, I get tired just listening to them. But they are monumental in sharing information about breast cancer for all our communities. So I'd like to welcome Luella Williams and Gay Lynn Richards. These two ladies are on several boards. Both of them actually are board members of the African American Breast Cancer Alliance and the Breast Cancer Education Association. And so they do double duty in a lot of breast cancer education presentations. And I'm just so grateful that they're on our board because they keep it real. And I really appreciate all the hard work you do. So thank you again for all the awardees for your remarkable work and steadfast service, because without you, we couldn't get it done a lot of times, you know. So thank you so much.
I'm sure many of you have heard people say they worked tirelessly. Sometimes you work tired. It's a lot of work, and I just have such an appreciation for people who do advocacy and community outreach. Putting this event together today was over a year's planning, all of the work that has to be done to bring visibility to a cause. And we're still missing people. So I am going to charge you with getting the word out to let people know this organization exists. Just in the past 2 days, I was talking with someone saying, hey, I'm going to this event and it's the African American Breast Cancer Alliance. They said, what? Well, how long have they been around? 35 years. How could they not know? So it's up to us to help pass the word. We are on social media all the time. Use your networks to help pass the word. Give out information and to support survivors and their families. So thank you for that. So again, thank you all for your remarkable work and your service, and let's continue to work together. All right. So now we're going to have a little fun. All right. You guys want to have some fun? Okay. Well, the survivors who've been here before, they know what they're going to do. It's called the Survivor Strut. Okay. It's one of the most uplifting things of the evening, and if you're feeling a little bit drowsy, you are going to wake up, all right? Get ready, get ready, get ready for the runway of resilience, the parade of power, for the catwalk of courage and confidence. Put your hands together for the amazing survivors as they walk with power and pride to the tunes of I Will Survive and Survivor. So when I point to you, say Survivor Strut. You know what it's called? What's it called? All right, get ready for Survivor Strut. Come on, ladies, you know what to do. Where's it? There should be some music coming from somewhere. Yeah. Woo! Yeah. All right. All right. Okay, thank you, ladies. You will have an opportunity to dance a little more and party a little harder, but we got a couple of more things to get through this evening. Thank you. Okay, they got to take the big group picture. If you want pictures, come on up and get them now. Oh, this is so cool.
My niece is old. One, two, three.
All right, give the survivors another round of applause as they take their seats.
Liam, the raffle ticket. You're the raffle ticket.
Oh. Are we gonna skip this or what?
No, what we're gonna do is, no, I
Get
don't
their
think
name?
anybody bought any tickets.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
were you just gonna pull names or what?
Well, I don't know where the names are.
Okay, then,
We won't worry about it.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
you can give it as a gift to somebody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And we'll just bypass it.
Okay, all right. So. Okay. All right, we have a couple of more things before our program ends, and we want to get to the dance floor. So can I please have your attention? Thank you so much. Mr. Marcus, are you getting ready? All right, all right. Now, as the excitement continues, we invite you to turn your attention to a moment of inspiration. It's my honor to introduce someone whose presence brings depth, wisdom, and heart to tonight's celebration. Please join me in welcoming our special guest, Marcus Fitzgerald, to share a few words in honor of his mother, Carol. Marcus.
Okay. Great to see everyone this evening. God is good all the time. And all the time, God is good. I just want to give thanks to each of you tonight who have joined this amazing occasion to celebrate 35 years of success at the African American Breast Cancer Alliance. Please give a round of applause to all the supporters, the donors, sponsors, survivors. That was phenomenal to see that rally together. You know, we're all in this together. I want to share a little bit tonight that can resonate with each of us in power, purpose, and prosperity. I want to share a Bible verse, which is Proverbs 22, verse 6, which says, "Train a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not turn from it." This foundation meant the world to my mom, as she was one of the 9 founders, co-founders of the African American Breast Cancer Alliance. I was 5 years old when my mom joined an amazing cast of 9 women to strive to better the lives of many women and do it with those who look just like her. So it means the world to me to be able to share with you guys the experiences that I feel I went through as the younger of 2 and having a father in the household who has known, some of you know through the spokesman recorder, Larry Fitzgerald Sr. I was so blessed and so thankful to grow up in a household where we saw 2 amazing, phenomenal parents in the household, which could give us every opportunity we could have today to be successful in whatever we chose to do with our lives. In 1990, when my mom had a mission and set out to inspire those, it gave me an early insight to my purpose. It gave me everything I needed at a young age to have power going into a classroom and knowing that I was there for a bigger reason than just recess, phy-ed, and the simple things that kids go to school for just to have fun. I had a real purpose watching my mom go home every day and the inspiration that she created when she left the house to be able to stand against this fight long before she was even diagnosed. In 1993, let's fast forward, I was 7 years old during the time that my mom was first diagnosed with breast cancer. And similar to your story, Dr. Hampton, my mother first came to me before she even told my father about the lump on her chest that was there. And she asked me to take a feel in the middle of her chest and feel what that lump was. And so when she asked me, at that tender age of 7, what she thought, or what I thought that was, I told her, I said, Mom, this is cancer. We need to go to the hospital right now. And she trusted in me to do that. So we rode to the hospital, and we found out that same day that she was diagnosed with breast cancer. So it was so meaningful to me to actually feel like I was part of that journey. And years before, seeing the work that AABCA does in the community, starting with the vision that she wanted to share to help others, now she needed that help. And I was right there first in line to be able to help during that process. So I truly feel like I was engaged at such an early age to opening my eyes, and God really opening my eyes to be able to give me every single thing I needed, example-wise, to see a strong black woman in this community doing so much to help every single person, every culture that she could come by to be able to learn about this disease. By 1994, my mom was cancer-free for the first time after her breast cancer battle, and had so much community support through so many people in this room. I can't begin to share the amount of names of all you all who have been so supportive through the years. 1997, my mother picked Larry and I up from school, and she announced to us for the second time now that she was diagnosed with breast cancer. So now we had a second fear to face, and we had to meet it head on. And in the front passenger seat, I saw my brother break down in tears and lean over and hug my mom as she was driving, and I saw him engaged in fear. And I took that moment at 12 years old, while my brother was 14, and I said, stop crying, Larry. We're going to get through this again. We're not going to show my mom any fear. We're not going to show her an ounce of fear. We're going to get through this. We got through it before. We're going to get through it again. So that power that I felt that same night, on that same evening, I went to play a football game, and I wanted to honor her with my actions on the field. And I told her, Mom, I'm going to honor you tonight in every step, every play that I play in this game tonight. And when we got to that game, on the very first play, on the very first kickoff, I ran down in a full-speed sprint, and I was the first kid down on that kickoff. And when I was ready to brace to make that tackle, that kid in front of me slipped, and he fell right into my leg, and I broke my femur bone at age 12 on the same day that my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. So then, as we met about No Fear, I said, you know what? That was meant for me. That wasn't meant to me to happen. I had 6 weeks exactly to stay at home with my mom while she was doing her chemotherapy rounds. So God gave me 6 weeks on the exact timeline that I was able to stay home at school, from school, being there with my mom. So imagine being that early engaged into your faith, into the Word of God, into school, and all the important things, and sports was just a hobby. Sports was just a sidecar, just a cherry on top, because I knew what was going on at home when I left that house, when I stayed at home every night, when I focused on what was really important. So by 1997, that spring, 2 months after my mom was now cancer-free, Dennis Green called my house looking for his friend, my dad. And when Dennis Green realized that my dad was not home at this time, and he got me on the phone, and I said, Coach, I want to tell you, I've had a dream for a long time watching you around my dad. I want to know, can you help me get that dream job that I've always thought of, being a Minnesota Vikings ball boy? Is there any way you can make that happen for me? And Dennis Green answered the call. A week later, he sent me a letter announcing that I was going to be a Minnesota Vikings ball boy during that 1998 mini camp, training camp that they hosted that year in 1998. So I took what I went through, my experiences, and I harbored that into great energy to know that I'm going to pave the way to create my first W-2 tax-paying job at age 13 years old that summer. And I did it. And I did it. And some of those things you do while you're young, you do that to inspire. I did that to inspire my mom. I did that to show her that I could be a young entrepreneur in the house. So not only did I create that first job for myself in 98, I was able to pull my brother up along the way in 99 and ask that same job opportunity for my older brother, who was at home sad for about a whole year watching the Vikings have that great season of success while I was on the sidelines as his younger brother. And so, I really believe that the things that happened to both of us, my mom will be so proud of where we are today. But everything truly, I can say, happens for a reason. And we're supposed to be able to meet the things that we go through in life and face either flight or fear. But don't give in to fear. As most of you survivors know, you don't give in to that. You give it all to God. God will handle all those burdens that you can't handle. You put it on him, and he'll get you through every single thing you could think of. And so our experiences, being able to understand, being around sports while we were young, see my mom in the community, we had the best of both worlds. And now this year, or as of February, Larry will be inducted, I believe, into the Hall of Fame as a first ballot Hall of Famer. So when I tell you everything happens for a reason, and he was drafted by the same coach that took a chance on giving me an opportunity as a young ball boy, giving the two Fitzgerald brothers a chance. That's what he did. And so, you know, I'm so thankful that he did that because he saw a lot in my mom. And that's where it all started. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to share a note with you that my mom left me 5 months before she passed away from breast cancer. And she gave this to me at the end of my senior season. And she wanted me to have this for a banquet. She said, "Dear Marcus, it was fun putting your scrapbook together. We are so proud of you. You had another good season. The hard work and perseverance really helped you become a better football player. God has truly blessed you. Always remember my motto, pray before you play. Keep God first in your life, and all things will work out for the best. Marcus, never take life for granted. You have matured into a loving and caring young man. Keep things in perspective and faith that you can accomplish anything your heart desires. Love always, Mom and Dad." So I stayed faithful to the way I was trained when I was young, and I stayed consistent through this journey. So thank you all. And I'll share you guys with the last quote from Marcus Garvey. "We can only build with faith in ourselves and self-reliance, believing in our own possibilities, that we can rise to the highest in God's creation." God bless you all. I wish you all the most success that you can even imagine. And I appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you, Brother Marcus, for that testimony. And I just wish I had known your mom. She seemed like she was an incredible person, and she raised some wonderful sons, so thank you. Well, this has been an incredible evening, and I want to ask Riona to come up to give some closing remarks about her experience, her journey, and close out our night together. I will have dancing and the book signing, and we'll just have some more fun before the night is over. So, Riona.
Wow, well, this has been a wonderful evening, and I appreciate every single one of you. One of the things I was thinking about throughout building this event, on the back there is a poster of the sisters and brothers that have received their wings. And in the last 6 weeks, I've lost 3 of my friends from 34 years of knowing them. And the sad part is we don't get to bring them back, but they stay with us all the time. And the love will always stay in our hearts, and their spirit would always be around us. And for us, I know probably 85% of those people on that board, and I know 85% of the people here, you know, and they have supported us and congratulated us and been there for us. And I just love the fact that you are able to appreciate what we do. Because when people ask us, why did we have to start a separate group for Black women? It's because we were the ones dying. And nobody was helping us, and nobody wanted to talk about breast cancer in the Black community. We don't want to find out 10 years after we've been diagnosed that great-grandma had it. We shouldn't live this way, because this is causing us to lose our sisters and brothers in our families. So for us, this is why we started the African American Breast Cancer Alliance, and this is why we've been here 35 years, and this is why we're going to be here 35 years more. Now, I don't expect to be here 35 more years. Good God, I don't want to do that. But with that heart and soul that we do have, AABCA will still be here. And with your help, we will continue on. And thank you so much. Now, party on. Party on. All right.
Okay, well, that is our last presentation. As we close this evening, let's carry forward the love, the hope, and community that African American Breast Cancer Alliance has inspired for 35 years and hopefully will continue for 35 more. And to the women out there, I do know men get breast cancer as well, but to the women, including myself, I haven't had my exam, and I've gotten a couple letters from the doctor saying, it's time, it's time. So this is my cue to get that done before the end of this year, and I encourage you to do the same. Thank you. Okay, just so we have fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I just want to also recognize our board of directors. So Luella, if you can stand, Galen Richards, Victoria Robinson, Camille Berry. One of our members lives in Indiana. Her name is Latia D'Amparo. Kim Gaulden. Who else is here? Did I get everybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's it. Yeah, plus me. All right. Thank you for toughing this out and being on the board, and we just look forward to more service from you, which means you're going to have to work harder. All right, thank you. Thank you. So hopefully we'll share in some dancing and book signing and all that good stuff, and thank you for being here for us.